My name's Lily. I'm 18 years old and I'm a freshman here at the University of Kentucky. I have a pretty hectic life, going straight from the gym to my classes all day long, and then piano and choir, and then maybe writing a post to my blog at night. So I'm just as exhausted as any other kid. I have a wonderful, supportive family, and Shriners Hospitals for Children Medical Center has always been a part of my family. I want to start at the beginning and tell you my whole story because not everything has always been as easy as it now seems. This is who I am.
When I was about 20 weeks pregnant with Lily, we went for just the regular prenatal ultrasound.
And so this was our third child. We felt like we knew what was going on and this was going to be fairly routine.
The ultrasonographer had to excuse herself from the room for a minute, and I started to get a little nervous. And then she came back and asked us to move to a different room so that the radiologist could take a look. Time just seemed like it stood still. Finally, he said, well, your baby has PFFD, is what he said, partial femoral focal deficiency, or syndrome. He used the word syndrome, and then I just couldn't think about anything else. So we were completely taken aback.
All the words he chose were very deliberate, not to alarm us, to try to be soothing, but at the same time, he would talk about options. He was not being very forthright with what he saw as options, and one of those options was not something that we would be willing to consider.
So Lily was diagnosed and born with fibular hemimelia and congenital short femur. And so that basically means the femur on her right leg, or her right thigh, is a little shorter than the other one. And her lower leg, she has the tibia, or the shin bone, but it's also a little short. And the second long bone of the lower leg, the fibula, was missing completely. And along with that, several bones of her foot and ankle were missing. The foot only had 3 toes and was very crooked towards the outside of the leg and would almost lay up against the outside of the lower leg at times. When Lily was 7 months old, we decided to do the Symes amputation. The emotional part of that was hard to overcome. Us making a decision for her that she has to live with. You know, it's not something that you can undo once you decide to do an amputation. So, you know, we battled with that for a long time.
I remember when we first saw Lily when she was about 18 months old, and she had red hair like her mother, and big eyes, and she was a little scared, as you'd expect. So the procedures that we've done have altered the growth of her limb so that children who have fibular deficiency tend to grow into more knock-knee or valgus position. And so the things that we've done have focused on trying to guide the growth of her growth plates around her knee, as well as address some of the leg length issues that she's had, so that she has a lot more choices as far as what kind of prosthesis she can wear and what's comfortable for her and what functional desires she has.
I remember taking care of Lily since she was very little. She was still basically a toddler when I first working with her. And I've been here at Shriners for 18 years. And early on, we were using some of the smaller feet for pediatric patients. And as we moved forward and she became a young lady, it became very important to her to have some upgrades, especially in relationship to shoes and how she loves to wear heels and wants to be a young lady. So we were able to eventually switch her to what's called an elation foot, and that foot allows her to adjust the heel on the prosthesis to match the heel that she's wearing in her shoe.
So Lily has been a patient ambassador for Lexington Shriners Medical Center for several years. And from the time I first met her until now, she has grown tremendously. One thing that I've always admired about Shriners Hospitals for Children is how they teach children that no matter what they're facing, there are no limits to what they can accomplish. What they're facing is not going to hinder their accomplishments.
I was probably about 4 or 5 years old maybe, and it kind of just hit me that I'm different. You know, I guess at that point I realized I had kind of a unique perspective. I think that was the first time I made a conscious effort to like defy the odds, basically, to say that I'm not disabled, regardless of how I may look. And that's kind of something that stuck with me ever since then. So I'm actually a nursing major in college right now. I decided I wanted to pursue nursing for a variety of reasons, really. One of them being my mom and my grandmom and my aunt and my uncle and a ton of people in my family are either nurses or in some other medical profession. I also just had a really good personal connection with a lot of nurses and got to hear just over time about why they love their job. Shriners kind of showed me that you can care about a person and have an impact on their life in a much more meaningful way. You know, using the care of that patient as like a vehicle, having a really strong impact in their life.
I had the 3 under there. It's there.
No, don't be the underslider.
I did it. It's just like
My family and my Shriners Hospitals family have been so important to me over the years, and I wouldn't be the person I am today without every single person that I met along the way. I'm not the best person. You know, I don't exemplify the ideal amputee survivor, and I made a lot of mistakes, but I think somewhere out there, at least one person just needs to hear what I've been given to say. I'll keep receiving care at Shriners Hospitals for Children Medical Center as long as I can, and I'm so glad I get to be a patient ambassador and get to talk to other patients and their families who are going through the same things that I've been through. I may never find out if that one person heard my story or not, but I'm gonna keep on telling it just in case. So this is who I am, and I can't wait to hear more about you.